I think over the past few years, we've seen Edgar Wright evolve as a director, to the point where he has matured as a filmmaker, in the types of films he's able to make. And this trailer is proof of that growth in spades. You'd be excused if you thought that this was a different director behind this film, because it's different from anything that Wright has directed in the past. In fact, it's a lot darker than the usual fare we've come to expect from the filmmaker. It's not new to see Edgar Wright dabble with other genres, but this is the first time that the British director has taken to horror. Here we see a story set in modern-day London, where we follow Thomasin McKenzie, one of the breakout stars of Jojo Rabbit. She plays Eloise, a budding fashion designer who has a mysterious connection to Sandy, a young singer in the 1960s, played by the Queen's Gambit star, Anya Taylor-Joy. Eloise seems to have the ability to travel back in time to the 1960s, where she gets to live Sandy's life through her body. The singer's life seems to be a lot more fulfilling compared to Eloise's life back in her time. It's through the experience she has following in Sandy's footsteps that Eloise starts to transform as a person and looks to be changing herself to fit the image of the singer. We see her changing her hairstyle and a shift in her confidence when compared to the beginning of the trailer, where she's a lot more subdued. But as perfect as this fantasy seems to be playing out, things soon become morbid. Sandy and Eloise's lives become close-knit, to the point where a hickey given to the former woman's lover in the past appears on her neck. Whatever happens to Sandy is transferring over to her in the present. But that's not all. Strange things are happening as ghosts starts to terrorize Eloise and her life becomes a literal nightmare. The whole atmosphere in this trailer, used to set the tone, and the cinematography is just perfect, especially for a film that has Soho in the title. I love the neon lights that are reminiscent of the time period, where the Soho area was littered with them on just about every corner. The biggest revelation in this trailer for me is Anya Taylor-Joy's vocals. She's playing a singer in the film, but she's also the vocalist singing over the trailer. I had no idea that the star was this good. I almost mistook her for someone else. She sounds so good singing Downtown. I'm not sure what they will officially call the track, but that's what I'm calling it for now. I guess we can look forward to some wonderful musical numbers from the actress, who continues to impress me. Ever since her debut in The Witch, and her role in M. Night's Split, where she completely won me over with her performance. I've been a fan of the actress, and I can't wait to see what she does with this role. Okay, side note, I've since found a song featured in this trailer online, and it's actually called Downtown by Petula Clark. The British singer recorded the single in 1964. Upon the single's release, it became an international hit, topping the Billboard Top 100 charts stateside, and settling at the number 2 spot in the UK singles chart. It was the third song released from Petula Clark's 1965 album titled Downtown. It's fitting how they used this song in the trailer, and it gives us an indication of the year the past segments in this movie takes place. It's in 1965, the year the album featuring this track was released. The next clue we get is the brief glimpse at the movie theater that Eloise visits. It has an advertisement for the James Bond movie Thunderball, which was also released in 1965. Speaking of the theater, it seems that portions of the film will take place at Café de Paris, a well-known London nightclub located in West End. We see Eloise enter the theater club as a patron, but it's actually a place where Sandy works as a performer, or maybe even visits regularly to enjoy the London nightlife. So back to Downtown. I can't be the only one who's had this song on their playlist since the trailer used it to perfection. But in case you haven't already, I definitely recommend looking up the original version, then the most recent one to compare the two. It really is an amazing song, and I'm glad because of this film, a lot of people, including me, are now aware of this classic song. Of course, more adept music fans would have been able to realize that Downtown wasn't an original song, but a re-recording of Petula Clark's hit single. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get back to the cast. Let's not forget Thomasin McKenzie, who is also another wonderful talent, and shouldn't be overlooked. She might not be as big of a star compared to her co-star, Anya Taylor-Joy, but the New Zealand actress is an amazing talent, who is undoubtedly headed for bigger things in her career. Her performance in Deborah Garnick's 2018 drama film, Leave No Trace, is a must-watch. It's no surprise that it is her breakout role as a star. She gives a wonderful performance, alongside Ben Foster, who plays a man suffering from PTSD. I won't say any more, just watch it. So I'm certain she will continue to do amazing work in this film, which will see her doing something that's a bit more mainstream than any of her previous roles. We have Matt Smith as Jack, who seems to be in a relationship with Sandy/Eloise. We get glimpses of him in the past and in the future. I can never not be interested in seeing Matt Smith included on a project. He's always great in anything. I've seen him in post-Doctor Who. Rita Tushingham will play a character called Peggy Turner, and I wish I could tell you more about her role, but unfortunately, those details are not available. So let's just take a look at her career. The actress has acted since the 60s, starring in her first on-screen role in 1961's A Taste of Honey as Josephine Joe, one of her noteworthy roles over her long career, which is still going strong today. There's also her role in Dr. Zhivago, in a much smaller part, but still one that stands out among some of the more heavyweight performances in the movie. It's always a delight to see her pop up, and I look forward to seeing her bring her ever wonderful presence in this project. Next up we have Terrance Stamp. I feel like it's been forever since we've seen this incredible actor in anything where I thought they made use of his talents. He is long overdue a good film to be a part of, and this might be it. This film will be the last project of two notable actresses in the industry who sadly passed away after filming their parts. The first is a prominent English actress who's had a wonderful career across the board. She did theatre, television, and film. The late Diana Rigg was known for her role in the 1961 British TV series, The Avengers, where she played fictional spy Emma Peel. Most people nowadays will remember her as Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones, a role the actress settled into perfectly in her stint as the character on the hit HBO TV series. Her snark was always a highlight to see in the show. I'm sure she'll give a wonderful performance in this film, no matter how big or small her role may be. Moving on, we have Jessie Mei Li, fresh off her biggest role to date, on Netflix's fantasy series Shadow and Bone. The actress couldn't have picked a better follow-up project to be a part of. I'm interested in seeing how she fits into this story because she really made an impression on me as Olenna in the aforementioned Shadow and Bone series. Margret Nolan is the second actress who we sadly lost in 2020. She has had a long and successful career, dating all the way back to the 60s, where she started off as a glamour model, before breaking into television, then later film, landing her biggest role yet, having a part alongside Sean Connery, the current Bond at the time, in Goldfinger. She played Dink, a masseuse in the film, but also was included in the iconic opening, where she wore a golden bikini and was spray painted gold. Nolan was also a recurring cast member in the Carry On films. This will be one of the few films she's appeared in since a break from acting for almost 3 decades, during which she became a visual artist. I'm really eager to see how she's used in this film. I imagine they will pay their respects to her and her co-star by dedicating the film to them, or at least acknowledging their passing once the film concludes. Continuing with the casting, we have James Phelps and Oliver Phelps. Remember the twin brothers who played the famous Weasley twins, Fred and George, in the Harry Potter franchise? Well, they're back on a major project. Not Harry Potter big, since that was a blockbuster, and this will be a smaller genre film. But it's still a huge deal, as it is an Edgar Wright project. I'm sure it will be a way for them to have a resurgence in their popularity. Finally, we have Synnove Karlsen. The actress is known for her work on the BBC Three thriller series, Clique. She is perhaps the least well-known actor in this ensemble. Still, I'm interested in seeing how she fits into this story, just the same as with everyone else in this cast. For a lot of these actors, not much is known about their role in this film, and that's okay with me. This is one of those films you don't need any background information about the characters the cast are playing to enjoy the story they are delving into. So the less we know, the better. The screenplay for this film comes from Edgar Wright and Krysty Wilson-Cairns, the latter who worked on the screenplay for 1917, the British war film directed by Sam Mendes, who co-wrote the script with Cairns. It went on to be nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the BAFTAs, the Academy Awards, and even the Directors Guild of America. So her inclusion on this film is nothing but good news. This will be her second major film after 1917, so I look forward to seeing what the writer is able to do on a different film under a director like Edgar Wright. Speaking of the director, how is it that he keeps on upping the ante for his films? The director has really come a long way since his early days, working on Space with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who would become a frequent collaborator in his future films. I was already a big Edgar Wright fan after his previous films struck a chord with me, since his sense of humor is always something that I enjoy. I never expected that his natural progression as a filmmaker would lead him to make something so dark that would completely change my perception of his abilities as a director. This is just leaps ahead of what I was expecting from him. But the signs were there, especially in his last film, Baby Driver, which gave us something that was reminiscent of his earlier work, but also very much different. I'm liking where he's headed as a filmmaker, and I look forward to seeing this film because the premise sounds interesting. And I like psychological thrillers. This looks like it will be a unique one to explore. The film was originally slated to be released in cinemas October of last year, but due to the pandemic, it was pushed back a few times. But now it seems we have a solid date to expect this release. The movie is due out this October, and I honestly can't wait. This has shot up pretty high on my most anticipated films of the year list. So what are your thoughts on the Last Night in Soho trailer? Are you intrigued as I am for this latest Edgar Wright project? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways folks, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to subscribe, like and comment below. And hey, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea. And that's okay. Just remember to take care and stay safe.